I work with Rebecca Jones. I provide the school data that myself and my students gather from every school website that makes the data available. And we provide that so that researchers can do analyses on that data. I've known Rebecca for, 4 or 5 months now. And I woke up to tags and messages just from like hundreds of Iowans. Oh my God, did you see this? And I pull open Twitter and I saw the video of the law enforcement, coming into her house, holding a gun to her face. They took her computer hardware. She has been able to replace that. She's setting up, literally, I just checked in with her about 15 minutes ago, and she's setting up her computer, and she's been apologizing to people all day. I'm sorry, I can't get back to you. I'm trying to get all this up so that it's up. The COVID monitor is still functional. My data still exists at the COVID monitor. All of her access to Florida's publicly available public health data with regard to COVID-19, all of that is still functional. It's still working. It appears that the goal of Governor DeSantis having the Florida State Police bust into her house was basically to scare the living hell out of her. And the thing is that living in another right-leaning, a conservative-leaning state with a governor who doesn't seem to want to acknowledge that what's happening is happening and that we need stronger mitigation measures, I'm worried that the same thing's going to happen to us now. State senators, as of last night, worry the same thing's going to happen to us now. And lots of friends. And my mom today was like, you should just stop now. And she's like, you need to stop. I'm like, I can't. I refuse. Iowans, we need to know what's going on. We keep our family safe. We do everything we need to. And I work with publicly available data. This is the same data that every single Iowan has access to. This was intended to scare her and scare her kids and her husband. I'd personally like her to say, no, we're not going to go after anyone who does this. It's sad that the person I voted for has such a disdain and distrust of those of us who just want to help out. We want to make her job easier, not harder. Mm-hmm. We provide information so that other people can make educated decisions. We have, 43 days until a new administration that will hopefully, at least is showing signs of being pro-science, pro-scientists, pro-logic. We know what the first rollout is going to be. Actually, the state of Iowa released a document late yesterday that talks about who's likely going to be in the second round, and it's going to involve firefighters, police officers, teachers, critical frontline workers who don't have the PPE necessary to be as safe as they can. And I think that that's really crucial, especially if we want our kids in-person learning, and that's a requirement. We need to protect our teachers so that our kids don't end up traumatized. But definitely the next 2 to 3 months are going to be pretty, I would say, harrowing for not just Iowans, but for Americans in general, because this is the time of the year when it's getting colder outside. We're all shutting ourselves indoors, whether it's indoors with only your own family members like us and like you, or if it's indoors and you're working in an office building and you're around other people, there's a possibility that COVID's going to spread in any enclosed space. The most important thing Iowans need to remember is that ventilation is key. Like, if you sit near a window, have your window open. Doesn't matter if it's 31 degrees outside, have your window open, fresh air coming in and moving it around. Always wear your mask. If you can pair it with a face shield like Dome Shield or any kind of face shield, pair them together. That will help decrease the amount of virus you likely get exposed to. It'll also decrease the amount of virus you expose to others if you are either asymptomatic or pre-symptomatic. And do your best to just not go places. That's the key here, because we want to have as many people pulling themselves out of spaces as possible so that the few people who are required to be in enclosed spaces have the distance they need to try to be as safe as possible. The way that vaccines work is that typically you see increased antibody production anywhere from like 1 week to about 3 to 4 weeks. It's dependent on the vaccine. I don't know specifically for Pfizer versus Moderna, but I think that they're pretty similar. you'll get your first dose and your body will immediately begin to produce antibodies.
You said
And the
maybe
second,
80%?
yeah, it's reasonably high, like considerably higher than for influenza, which is great. It's a wonderfully matched vaccine. The second vaccine is just going to boost the antibody production, and that's when you're going to get up above the 90% mark. I think it's important for most Iowans to understand is after you get your doses, you're probably going to feel pretty crappy for about 2 days, 2 to 3 days. You're going to feel like you've got like a kind of a mild influenza. Your arm is going to hurt. You're going to kind of feel crappy. You're going to want to watch TV, not get off the couch. Go with it. Don't try to push yourself because you're just going to feel icky. And it's okay to feel icky because that's actually a sign that your body is mounting a defense and that it's actually doing what it needs to be doing. Best thing you can do once you get vaccinated, like after each dose, take it easy. Watch some Netflix, hydrate a bunch. Don't go anywhere. Don't do anything. You're not going to want to even do that anyway until you know that it's been long enough after your second dose, but just take it easy. I want life to go back to normal just as possibly more than most people, because this is day 278 of not seeing people.
Yeah, you guys are superhuman.
We need to hug thousands of people when it's safe
my
again.
gosh,
Like,
it's just going to be a hug
like
fest.
Everyone I see.
Well, quit shaking hands probably, and no more blowing out the candle on the birthday cake and eating the cake. No, sorry, thanks.
Nope.
I'll bring my own cake.
Mm-hmm. I think that we're definitely going to have some shifts in society post-COVID.
It would be like, namaste, great to see you.
Exactly.
I'll get a hug, but no.
Yeah, I think it's time we get away from shaking hands. We don't need to make sure that somebody's not hiding a knife up their sleeve, which is one of the reasons people shook hands.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We don't do that anymore. We haven't done that forever.
That's great. Well, hey, Sarah, thanks so much, and I'm glad you're doing better here.